The pandemic has accelerated a change in housing in this country that began well before COVID-19 spread. Millennials, adults between the ages of 24 and 39, continue to move back home with their parents in significant numbers. For some, it's by choice, but for many, it's a matter of necessity. Special correspondent Catherine Rampell, who's a columnist for The Washington Post, has our report.
I was an ugly child. People would tell my mom that my sister should be a model, like, right in front of me. And then I'd emerge from behind my mom's legs like Nosferatu, like, what should I be?
At the start of 2020, comedian Nikki was riding high. A racy Netflix special, national tour, TV shows in development. Then, you know what happened.
Everything started shutting down, and I was like, I'll just go back to St. Louis for a week or so, you know?
7 months later,
I'm a 36-year-old woman who is living with her parents, and there's no end in sight.
Little did Nikki know back in March that she'd be a poster child for her generation's response to the pandemic. Young adults moving back home with their parents.
This is the highest it's ever been, stretching back to 1900 and the historical record.
Economist Richard Fry just co-wrote a study showing that a majority of young adults are now living with their parents, though the share had been rising for a while.
Many of us expected that it was going to peak and begin to decline after the Great Recession. That did not occur. It continued to rise, and now it has sharply accelerated again in the space of, 5 months.
Millions of millennials have moved back home.
Do what you gotta do.
And some just had more personal reasons.
There's something really about this time that makes you want to be with people you love and who love you unconditionally. And for me, that's just my parents.
But even this big star had some financial motives for heading home.
There's been a lot of things that have just stopped in their tracks that got, canceled.
Meanwhile,
I just signed a lease March 1st for an apartment in New York. I've paid full rent for a really expensive place that I never even stepped foot in, even once, for this whole year.
During a pandemic, of course, there are other risks to dating, like exposing your parents to illness.
A guy asked me on a date or to some party, and I texted him, I'm sorry I can't go, my mom won't let me. And the last time that I ever told a boy, I'm sorry I can't, my mom won't let me, I've never done that. I never texted that because texting didn't exist the last time that was an answer to anyone. I would, landlines did.
At the Glazers, the fights are less about politics, more about personal hygiene.
I still have a messy room, so I Venmo my mom sometimes to just clean my bathroom. Yeah, I'm living here for free. I'll Venmo you, and she gets so excited.
Their time together may be winding down, at least according to her father, EJ.
So I think you're going to get a place in the next month or so, from what Nikki's been saying.
Well, I just found that out, but no. That's what I've been talking about. I think that they need to have their space.
But she's still getting used to the idea.
I think they call it failure to launch. Classic millennial, millennial traits.
She takes comfort in knowing she's not alone. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Catherine Rampell.